the top of my wardrobe is playing havoc with my OCD. I had to cut it out of this scene. I shouldn't be putting bags up there really. Let's open up this vlog with a couple of packages. I'm getting to that stage of the lockdown where in order for me to have like an endorphin release I have to... Do you see my address then? Getting to that stage of lockdown where, I mean it's happened in lockdown 1, lockdown 2, where buying things made me happy. Didn't really buy the second package because I get that each month from my sponsors, but this I did buy myself. I bought it yesterday and it came today. Apple are very good. What is it? It is a magic keyboard. What makes it magic, may you ask? I don't really know. But as you know, I've got my new iPad that I'm very much enjoying. Been over the last couple of days, been mapping out all of the key information to the Ibiza Classic, the Ibiza To Do, the finances, you know, plan. So I need a case for it, and I was, you know, referring back to that. I must have everything new. The new 13-inch MacBook Pros came out with this M1 chip, and I was like, I don't really need to buy it. I've already got a MacBook, but I want a bigger one, and there's no point getting the 16-inch 2019, so I'm just going to wait. But I needed a case, and I thought, well, you know, if I'm going on holiday, if I'm going to be going dubs, if I'm going to, you know, I want a little that isn't a laptop, it's just nice, fits in. So that is that. Jesus Christ. That is that. Then we'll move on to the more exciting stuff, which is this month's Insight order from my wonderful sponsors, Insight. I think this vlog may be the best supplements 2020. The supplements in here aren't the best supplements of 2020, but many of them will probably fall into the category of best supplements 2020. But Tom, it's 2021. Yeah, I do this every year, recapping the previous year of what I feel is the best. So in this month's order, protein of choice, we've got the Perform Whey, chocolate and raspberry. Now, as when I'm like in an off season, I don't really like too many chocolatey things because it makes me feel like a bit of like a fat slob. Can you understand my sort of psychology behind that? I like fresh, you know, like when I order a dessert in off season, I don't buy like chocolate cake. I buy like a nice blueberry cheesecake or like a lemon cheesecake, or do you know what I mean? That, so I've kind of 50-50 here. We'll see how this is. We've got 3 or 4 weeks left of the off season, so just stocking up on some intra carbohydrates. This isn't my go-to just because of the cost of what you get. Usually I use Recarb by Foresight, but it's out of stock at the moment, so intra carb plus by Supplement Needs is the sort of my second go-to. Or you could use Strom's carbohydrate powder alongside the intra carbs. I have my intra EAAs, peach iced tea, very tasty indeed. And 2 also in that mix, I'll have my electrolytes, the pineapple punch, very nice. You saw in the previous vlog, in the mornings at the moment I'm having my 1 scoop of greens and 1 scoop of electrolytes. I said to Danny, look Dan, I'm after a new everyday kind of pre. Nothing too crazy. I want something that's quite effective, that isn't a huge panel, it's going to leave me kind of up, down. I've got plenty of those sort of fuck you up leg pre-workout. So Strom Stimumax Black Edition in green apple. Nothing too crazy. I've heard very good reviews. Citrulline malate, beta-alanine, NAC, caffeine, Juglans whole fruit, and Kilglia African sausage tree extract. Never heard of that particular ingredient before. Quite heavy on the stimulant side, but not too overpowered to the sense that I can dose it to what I would just like from my everyday pre. So we'll try this. We'll try this on Monday. Monday you will be joining me. The vlog is still there. So yeah. I also got given another pre-workout, Limitless. L-citrulline, beta-alanine, alpha-GPC, caffeine anhydrous, N-phenylethyl dimethylene, decaffeine malate, theobromine. This is like, see, when I start reading that, I think, it's a bit too much. See, when I see big panels like that, I think, right, you're only good for certain things. Alright, I need to charge my controller and I need to charge my Astro A50 because I have a Warzone tournament tonight. Good morning, happy Monday, happy Blue Monday. Don't let your Monday be ruined by a phrase that was coined by a travel airline company. We're off to Smash Fitness to film a push and arm session. Gigi's behind the camera yet again. I'm glad that you enjoyed the previous episode where Mr. Greenhorn worked his magic. We'll be covering a push and arm session today. The how to grow your arms, where we kind of went through the mechanics of how to grow your biceps and triceps, will be live on the members site shortly. That was a nice video, went kind of in detail and expanded on the Instagram post the other day. But a couple more weeks left to push on. 109.8 and 109.6, so getting close to that 110 kilos, which for me is crazy. I'll put a video on the screen of the sort of current update, current physique update. Like I said, closing in on that 110 key, which for me is just unheard of. You know, the heaviest I was when we went into this off-season, that we went into this contest prep last time round, was about 102, and that was a messy looking 102. So this time round, 8 kilos heavier, and I think we can all agree slightly better condition too. So very excited to start prep in a couple of weeks time. Just on the way to Smash now. I'll see you in there. This is the rig that everyone was asking in the previous video, the Canon C70. What lens were you rocking on this, Gigi?
24-70, 2.8.
Then we got a nice little monitor above. Got the Rode on the side. Spectacular. And then what we do for our members videos is we run the Rode wireless. This is some rig, this is, mate. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so what we do for the members videos is we run the Rode wireless, so it's like the NFL mic'd up. It's not too bad. You could probably vlog with that, you know. It's not too bad, is it?
It's not.
Like, take it, yeah, and then you could probably get away with that.
Yeah, and you can put that 50 to 35 on it.
Yeah.
But this has got the EF full frame mount, so 16 to 35 fits on it, so you get perfect vlogging setup.
Yeah, I mean, it's doable. It's got a flip screen. Obviously I've got like massive delts, so. But the only annoying thing is, look, when we put it down, the HDMI mucks up with the HDMI that goes into the monitor. But we'll get around it. YouTube, the previous video that Gigi did was so spectacular, we thought we'd do another one. We're sitting on plenty of member site content, which is fantastic. As I mentioned, prep starts in a couple of weeks, so we will start the brand new prep series February the 1st, get that filmed, and then that'll be out a couple of weeks after that. So as the title suggests, we are talking about the best supplements of 2020, but I want to take you through our push and arms. Again, 2 weeks left of this off season, no room for kind of taking our foot off the gas. I think the plan is to deload after the next 2 sessions next week. So we'll have a nice 5 days off where we can just rinse the hell out of the fatigue that we've built up over the last 10 or 12 weeks. Despite this year or last year not being as optimal as we'd have liked, we're in quite a strong position, closing on that 110 key, which is fantastic. So like I said, we'll take you through the push workout, which is mainly kind of chest because we've got the shoulders, got the OHP at the gym on Thursday. So we'll take you through that and tag on a bit of arms after. Un momento. Today, I mean, Solomon's sitting on some content, Solomon Black Coffee 2021 DJ Music Room Mix. The amount of content that DJs are probably sitting on for when we're all released back in the wild, I mean, prep finishes June 20th, so if our beef is on this year, then that week we're going to go out. This is the raw element that everyone wants. Just keep it raw. Cable flies to open up with. I was doing the past 2 sessions I've been doing them standing, but as you try and increase that load, the issue comes is the stability. But because it's a wide cable, it's not what you'd want when we come to do like a D-handle press or a flyer. But it's not too bad. So we'll put the bench. It just means you're having to move the bench far more forward than you would do when you're doing a closed cable stack. And because the width, it kind of forces you into that position where you want to kind of bend the elbow a little bit more, because you straighten that, it's a lot of pressure inside there. So we'll still work around it. 12-5-3. As mentioned before, chest isn't an area that we have to kind of batter too much. Thankfully, I've got a relatively strong chest, so it just means a few kind of sets per week in terms of volume is enough to increase that. So 12-5-3, then we'll go into a press and a dip, then we'll go into shoulders and then arms. Two, there's still fucking tension on the chest. Cut it short. It's supposed to be 12-5-3. Oh, that's the other thing. You can't drop it back if it's a wide. On a closed cable stack, you can drop it off. Knew full well I weren't going to even place, and I was just like, right, psychological warfare. Perfecto. Yeah, I mean, despite the year, even in lockdown 2, remember just driving like an hour anywhere. Crawley, went down to Crawley, PHX, gym, Burgess Hill, Crawley, Pure Gym, fucking everywhere. Did not want to regress progression at all. Couldn't do it. Lockdown 1, I did bands, as you may remember. I had a couple of dumbbells and a band. I thought, I just cannot go back to that. Not the way in which this year's gone with Josh and Joe. Hey! 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 Beautiful. Take number 5. This is what you do when you do 5 takes. You pretend to drink. Like McDonald's adverts when they don't bite the burger. Intra-workout, something that I've been using now for, well, since working with Cal, jumping all board with Cal, who was a lot more intricate when it came down to the variety of different ingredients that we should use within our intra-workout. I've kind of stripped it right back, gone for a carbohydrate powder that is usually cyclic dextrin, derived from cyclic dextrin. High molecular weight, lower osmolarity. Our primary concern when consuming intra-workouts is that ability for it to digest. We don't want a carbohydrate choice like a cheap carbohydrate that you'll probably see me in the past using back in the GNC days when I didn't really have the money. And what you find with those cheaper carbohydrate powders is you get a lot of bloating during your training, which is not what we want. We don't want the blood to be pulled away from the important areas where we want to get it to and into the gut. So
nice cyclodextrin, lower osmolarity. I'll use the Supplement Ease EAA Plus. Haven't touched any other apart from I think the Strom EAAs when the Supplement Ease isn't in stock. You know, Dr. Dean's formulations are incredible, not only from kind of performance but also from health side of things. I'll have 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, and I'll also have my electrolytes. I'll prioritise electrolytes a lot more when I'm training fasted. You've seen me train fasted before. I'll have 1 upon wake and 1 in my intra-workout, just because we've had that prolonged period of time where we've been asleep. And sometimes you go into the gym a little bit dehydrated. You get that horrible kind of can't quite grip feeling, and that's usually in part down to dehydration and a lack of electrolytes or minerals on board. So I'll whack 5 grams in there, and I'll just sip that throughout the session. Onto some flat dumbbell pressing. We'll talk a little bit how to kind of structure push sessions at the end of the session. With this particular one on a Monday, more so prioritising chest and shoulders. We had programmed some dips. I'm getting towards the end of this training block and it just wasn't feeling right. And last week, I was just feeling a little gammy in the shoulder. So we'll just opt for a flat press. 2 sets 8 to 10. What I'm trying to do with this 2 sets 8 to 10, if I get, for example, first set, 10 reps on 40 kilos, I'll drop that to say 35 on the back off to ensure that I'm still getting 10. So the progression from there will be next week, see if we can up the load. Onto some delt work. If you want big delts, just carry the Canon C70, because I'm seeing the progression in Gigi's delts here since having a new camera. But because we don't have any OHP work in this particular session, it's just lateral raise work. So we'll do what Cal refers to as the shotgun to the head delt complex, and it's kind of ensuring that we're taxing the delt in its short and mid and lengthen range, kind of lengthen range. We have the ability to use a closed cable stack at Crayford, so this particular kind of drop set, superset, whatever you want to call it, is slightly easier, but we can still emulate that on the wider cable stack. And as if any of you do follow Callum, he went through how you could do and replicate this particular complex with just the bands and a dumbbell as well. So you don't necessarily have to have cables, but we're very fortunate enough to be in a gym today to use the cable, so we'll take you through that now. Usually I'm just doing like a crucifix and then into like a standing to target that length and mid, but what we can do is get tricky and do 3 lots. So we'll go into that crucifix and work within that short range. We'll then go into the mid, and if you are using dumbbells, you can use a little inertia here and ensure that you're controlling through that mid, and then to kind of target and get a little bit of resistance in that length and range, we can obviously stand and get some kind of tension with the cable here. But I think for now we'll just stick to the 2. So what I've been doing each session is just doing that crucifix. I've been doing them standing. At Crayford we usually do them seated with the cuffs as well, but it feels more comfortable on the shoulder joint itself doing them standing. And then what we'll do is we'll drop that and go into that mid crossbody, lengthen to mid, and we'll do 3 rounds of that. My bloods came back at 15 nanomolar. So I said to Cal, fuck me, hopefully these are incorrect. Otherwise, we've been doing the last 6 months in a physiological testosterone range. Usually the dose that I'm administering kind of pushes me in that 35 to 40 nanomolar. So we'll retest this week. But I suppose the benefit, if the bloods come back low and the gears bunk, then we've been doing the last 6 months as kind of natty. The plan was going to be Feb 1st fly out, or day before Feb 1st, end of Jan fly out, and then we can start prepping like a kind of solid, stable area where we've got access to food and to training and cardio in the morning. But I think what the plan now is we'll start prep at home. We'll build the shed outside and whack the treadmill in there. And then what me, Josh and Joe will do towards the end of March, start of April, is time a trip out to Dubai where we can all get together, knowing that when we get back, gyms are going to reopen. So it'll be a nice little break, kind of a couple of months into prep for us all to meet up. So I wanted to briefly discuss kind of programming for push sessions, and it's a question that I get quite a lot on the members site. And it's generally like how to structure X workout, be it pull, legs, push. Now, I've got 2 push sessions that Callum has programmed, and I'll prioritise one body part of that push session over the other. So on a Monday today will be predominantly chest, and the work coming from deltoids will be through the lateral raise work that we did on the cables. And then my second session, again, we'll go into some form of a fly, be it a cable or cuffed. Probably only do like 1 pressing movement for chest, and then we'll do 1 overhead press for shoulders, and then we'll do a little bit more volume with the delts. And that will either come from like a lateral raise machine that I'm using at the other facility, it will come from close cable stack, lateral raises, be it crucifix or lay-in. So generally with those push sessions, like on a Monday, we'll get that chest nice and short, okay? So be it a cable or a cuff fly, for example. And then what we have programmed at Crayford is like one of our main movements that you'll see me, Josh and Joe progress each week will be like a Cybex hammer, incline press, or like a nitro incline press, and then we'll go in some flat. So we'll have a fly, an incline, and a flat. And then with the deltoid work, we'll try it again and target in those short to medium to lengthen ranges, and then we'll go into arms. So it'll be tricep, bicep, tricep. And then with arms on the following session, it'll be bicep, tricep, bicep. And then the way in which we'll structure that second push session is still fatigue the chest in that shortened range for a fly, and then we'll just go into like 1 pressing movement, be it a flat dumbbell or like a flat reverse band Smith, and then we'll do like a heavy bulk of shoulders. And that's just the way that we kind of program our push work, push A and push B. What we can do when we get the new split, when we go into prep, is go through 2 different pull sessions. I think we're going to increase the frequency of our back again, bringing that posterior chain back into the mix, because it's a very enjoyable session of mine. But like I said, we'll go through that when we get that new plan in place. Before my sessions, when I used to start training in West Wickham, I used to do underhand rowing to get a bicep pump. Then I'd go down to the pump room, all pumped up, and they think, you haven't even trained yet and you're looking big. It's just a little trick, little tip. Hope you enjoyed today's push session. Like I said, what we'll do closer to the time when we have our plan in place for prep is go through a kind of more detailed overview of how training is going to look, and that transition from off-season into prep as well, which I think is quite interesting. But I'm going to shoot off now, and I want to leave you with TM Cycles in the next scene.
Gunner is not very well. I must say, as a dog parent, it's very concerning, highly distressing to see your animal in such, bless him, think he like ate something because he started throwing up a lot yesterday, and now he's just sort of literally licking his wounds. Anyway, welcome to Supplement Review 2020. We always did these a year before. I know it's 2021, but it's same shit, just a different year because we're still in this mess, aren't we? So prep starts next week on Monday. Very excited to release a new prep series. We'll be kind of doing like a behind the scenes, very similar to the Level Up series, which has been fantastic. I'm glad everyone's been enjoying that. Gigi's been covering the kind of training side and progression from the training point of view, and I've been covering the business. That element, that style will still continue into the new prep series, but we'll be going a lot more into the kind of compound and anabolic usage. I think at the moment with Instagram and YouTube being very censored, I've kind of tested out a few things and it's been demonetized and posts getting taken down. So the only real area where I can kind of openly talk about it and discuss about anabolics and doses is the member site. And I want to get Callum on board as well, but obviously as my coach will be a great idea to kind of talk us through as well. But what we don't have here is the nootropics, because I want to do a different video on that, and also health supplementation. So next week when prep begins, we're going to dip down into a cruise phase for 4 weeks just to clear out, just drop that test dose, retest bloods, introduce CV Pro Plus and red yeast extract, and just kind of put us in a little bit more of a favourable position come March. So we'll go through the health supplementation soon. But here we've got protein, carbs, kind of like an interest stack. We've got cortisol management, sleep, and we've got pre-workout. So we'll jump straight in. I don't think in my previous video I had Perform, but for a protein that ticks every box when it comes to flavour, a variety of flavours, cost and mixability is probably up there with the best. I go between Perform and Raw One, but even kind of cost, Raw One, it can be a little expensive at times. Perform's great. Big 2 key tub. I don't know the price off my head, but the variety of different flavours is phenomenal. You know, the chocolate raspberries are the top spot for me. I picked this up this month. Kind of combines that quote unquote dirtiness of the chocolate, but also the freshness of the raspberries. Really nice. I would say the top 4 flavours are the chocolate raspberry at number 1, blueberry muffin at 2, the lemon cheesecake at 3, and I'd say number 4 possibly the cinnamon. I think the donut, they've got a really nice one. I know Josh is a big fan of the salted caramel, but yeah, fantastic product, especially for those that kind of like to rotate their proteins. And again, value for money for someone like myself at the moment at the tail end of an off season where I don't really want to sit and consume the meat. So don't get me wrong, I'm still consuming my sort of chicken and fish, but to kind of bump my protein up, a couple of scoops a day is perfect. In terms of carbohydrate powders, I always use the Foresight. The only reason why I haven't got this on the table is because it wasn't in stock, but the Supplement Needs Intra Carb Plus is like the go-to if Foresight isn't in. The only downside to this is cost. It's not very cost effective, but you kind of pay what you're getting, which is a common theme with Supplement Needs. Is it is expensive, but for you know, referring to that kind of 1% and the formulations that go into it by Dr. Dean, I'm not complaining about the money. I'm merely stating it's a little expensive. But what's nice about Supplement Needs, and you'll see quite often, is their ability to kind of go off on a different branch. So you've got a product here, but it's like, what can we add to that to amplify that? You know, can we add in some form of nutrient transportation? Can we add in like a pump formula? And you'll find that there's the glycosides and the Carb Plus. So if you're taking like an everyday pre-workout that doesn't have a huge amount on the pump side of things, and you combine it with like an Intra EA Plus, an electrolyte, got some food on board, and also the Intra Carb Plus with the glycosides, you will have quite a nice pump in the gym. So that's my second go-to carb. My main go-to carb is the Foresight, but I don't think it's in stock. I think it's in stock next month. We'll kind of stick with the Intra theme. What I do is I have my carbs, my electrolytes, my creatine monohydrate, and my Intra EAs. I haven't stopped using the Supplement Needs Intra EAs for probably a couple of years now. Again, very strong product. Big serving of isoleucine, leucine, valine. Again, referring to that kind of ability to branch off and add in additional products to help vasodilation, cognitive support, and things like that. So very strong products from Supplement Needs. And you'll see it all the time. I'm taking pictures on Instagram, the white tubs, and goes for health supplementation as well. I use all of the health supplementation. Just got the CV Pro Plus on board as well to start next week to kind of flush out and dip into a cruise. So in terms of intro workout, again, got the carbs, electrolytes and the EAAs. We'll go on to the pre-workouts, the juicy stuff which everyone wants to know about. The kind of fuck you up pre-workout one that I would not recommend you take on a daily basis is the AlphaGen. I think Josh had to stop taking that because it was bringing on some anxiety on the way to the gym, and I can vouch for that as well. Very, very strong indeed. Probably for those more taxing big leg sessions or for those sessions towards the tail end of a training block. I was relying on this quite a lot when we finished our first training session, or our first training block, me, Josh and Joe, when we had our leg days, the Cybex hack, the battle of the Cybex hack. So I was using a close to a scoop, very, very strong. You know, you have to kind of be prepared for you to have a bit of a dodgy come up and a bit of a crash. Then in your mind, you have to then decide, is it worth it? And if it means that you can squeeze out a little bit more progression or weight on the bar, then definitely the AlphaGen is a big one. And then to your everyday pre-workouts, I've been using Naughty Boy for close to a year, or since it came in. The flavour in particular for the strawberry mango, the Insight collab is beautiful. It really is, and that's what you want from an everyday pre. When you're driving to the gym, you want the taste to be good, you want the effects to be good. You don't want to have that crash when you come off, and they tick all those boxes. They really do. The grape isn't too bad. The Naughty Boy grape, that's a special edition one. What I tend to do is just add a scoop or half a scoop of the Foresight Nootropic, because Danny's nailed the grape flavour with that. It's like almost like a fizzy KA grape. So the combination of the two, but again, Naughty Boy have killed it. They really have. I was in the market for another everyday kind of pre, and looked on the site, reached out to Rich at Strom, and again they've nailed it with the Stimmy Max Green Apple as well. A very kind of limited panel, but very effective. So you've got citrulline, beta alanine, NAC, caffeine, and Juglans whole fruit. And it's almost like when we was working with Denovo and we had Utopia. Sometimes those products that strip it right back and just nail the job at hand are the best. And it's nice to have an additional kind of go-to for your everyday pre. But into the deload tomorrow, so 4-5 days off caffeine, so no coffee for me. And we'll be back to pre-workouts on Monday. I haven't been using a pump formula this off-season. I really haven't. The anabolics, the kind of stack design that we've been on, and the food going in hasn't really required me to have an additional pump formula. Pump formulas are something that I tend to use in the kind of mid to late stages of a prep when food's low. I'm not getting that pump that I used to have, so chucking in a pump formula at that point would be something to consider. But the Naughty Boy Sick Pump is fantastic. What they've done here is they kind of combined the purpose of a pump, but also having that additional nootropic. So you're getting some form of stimulation in the sense that you're getting that kind of tunnel vision, that focus, but it's not as extreme as like a pre-workout with which contains caffeine. So really nice if anyone's in the market for like a pump formula that has the additional benefit of nootropics in there too. And then finally, sorry, I'm going on. I know it's hard to kind of condense these videos into less than 5 or 10 minutes, but we've got our sleep formulas. Again, supplement neat. I've been using that since Dr. Dean released it, which I think is probably about two or 3 years now, or close to 3 years. The ability to kind of tap into natural serotonin secretion and melatonin as well is great. 5-HTP, big on the 5-HTP, especially from an appetite suppressant side. You know, when we had Suppress with Denovo, big serving of 5-HTP. Wouldn't really recommend taking Sleep Stack in the morning. If you want the benefits of that appetite suppression from 5-HTP, just grab yourself a spare bottle from Foresight, and that's the kind of combination with that and the black coffee will see a good amount of time before your first meal. But yeah, Sleep Stack, and then I combine with the Support Max Neuro, the cherry flavour, I think it's up there. So the Insight and Strom collaboration with the cherry is, oh my word, it's like a cherry drop, the sweets, the old school cherry drop sweets. But a big fan. Again, you will see me use this a lot more towards the end of a training block, so like 1 scoop after training and 1 scoop before bed. And also in a deload, I'll bang a couple of scoops. So we've got a 5-day deload coming up tomorrow. You'll see me have one in the morning and one in the evening, because our primary concern during those 4 to 5 days is to stay in that parasympathetic state as long as possible, and not have any introduction in caffeine that could potentially take us out of that. So using things like Support Max and Sleep Stack and really ensuring that recovery's A1 is my primary concern. So yeah, brilliant product, and one that I'll use for... I thought I fucking escaped parakeets. The whole reason I moved away from Beckenham was to get away from the parakeets. They followed me. Anyway, any questions at all on the supplements mentioned, or if you've got any questions on like, oh, have you tried this, or just tap them away. In terms of sleep products, I think, was it Fade Out? I think Redcon have done a Fade Out. I took that because I had a few samples when I came back from Texas. Fantastic, but it made me so groggy in the morning. It knocked me out, but like to the point where my mornings would be very unproductive because I'd be sleepy. You don't get that with Sleep Stack. You don't get that drowsiness and that grogginess. So that's why it's been in the supplement stack for a very long time. But yeah, any questions at all, as per, you can head over to Insight, TMC10 for 10% off your discount, and any questions on the above, tap away. But I'm going to leave it there. I think we've got one more video coming out before prep begins. Me and Gigi are going to meet up for a coffee, or a decaf coffee, and just discuss how we're going to plan the content for the new prep series. But if you follow me on Instagram, we're kind of transitioning into that spring summer, so some slight changes to kind of colours and feels and fonts. So we're going to go through a kind of clothes haul. We've been in lockdown, so my ability to kind of go to night tan that I usually do has been stripped. So just went on the Night website and got a few clothes for this new series coming up. So in the next episode, we'll go through the series itself, the plans, and a little unboxing. But yeah, I hope you're all staying well. I know this kind of continual grey cloud above everyone's head is hard. It's getting to me too, especially turning on the telly and seeing June or July, and it's like, Christ, how much longer are we going to be in this for? But keep on. I will be sure to release and keep you guys and girls in the loop and have something to watch over the next upcoming months. I'm very excited for prep to begin. You know, a whole different mentality, whole different psychology going into this one, and I think we'll do some fucking damage. I know we'll do some damage. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thank you, good night. Much love.